So I am here to talk about brand, you guys. All of you have your own personal brands, whether you know it or not. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to showcase that brand to potential employers, potential business partners, friends, family, cohorts, whoever you want to showcase that brand to. Really quickly, I kind of built this in the dark. I'm going off a kind of digital brand, how to present yourself online and how to get that message out there. Is there anything anybody wants to hear me talk about as far as branding goes? I know we talked a little bit about how it can help you find a job in the workplace, but is there anything else specifically anybody wants to know? Nope? Awesome. So first, I guess I'll take a minute and I'll say, why do I get to come talk to you, a 25-year-old kid talking to MBA students, and I don't even have an MBA? These are the 4 things that I kind of consider part, of my personal brand. I call myself sometimes a social media evangelist. In October 2009, I fell into kind of social media marketing and how it can help differentiate your little brand from all the big guys and how it can differentiate yourself from all your competitors in the job place. And ever since then, I've been reading and spitting social media stuff out of my mouth and really kind of absorbing and implementing all the practices. I'm a founder. At this school, I was a founder of Epsilon Nu Tau, Cal State Fullerton's Gamma chapter, of which 3 members are sitting in the center of the room. We're an entrepreneurship fraternity. I'm a graduate, obviously, Cal State Fullerton marketing grad, and then something that kind of tags along with my personal brand is I've been dating the same person for 9.5 years. We are not yet engaged nor married. Soon though, maybe. And then I went through and I looked at my blog, which I actually haven't updated in a while. And I kind of wanted to see what I had been talking about when I was a student. So a year ago, when my last blog post happened, I was talking about social marketing and time and customers and trust and kind of all the things that come along with building your personal brand. So my first question to everybody is what is a brand? If you can describe brand in a couple words, a sentence, what would it be?
I think it's like something that describes who you are in like a picture almost.
Okay.
Like a snapshot of who you are.
Okay, so 5 words that tell somebody what you're all about.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, it was evangelist and 9.5 years and founder and that kind of stuff. Anybody else?
Maybe a perception that you want others to see you as?
Perception, that's good.
Just the term brand on its own?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember a definition that I liked. It was something along the lines of a unified, just say view of you from a variety of touch points. So whether it's Facebook or it's like one view, kind of. It's consistent.
That's exactly where I'm going with it. It is a collection of perceptions in the mind of a consumer. So that's for a traditional brand like Target, Nike, Starbucks, somebody like that. But if you look at yourself like that and you look at consumers as maybe the person you're applying for a job for, or maybe somebody you're trying to work with, maybe other students, it's what do they think of you? Come on in, take a seat. So that's kind of what a brand is. We'll take a look at a couple brands and see what we think of them. So everybody knows this one. Everybody knows Nike. What is their brand all about? What is Nike's mission statement, if you can think of one? Just do it. So that's their tagline. So just get out there and make it happen.
Providing victory to the common man.
Okay, I like that. Their mission statement is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And they do that by creating new running shoes and workout gear and all that kind of stuff. So their brand has taken on this idea that everybody's an athlete, or everybody who wears our gear is an athlete, and we want to inspire you to be better at your particular sport. So inspire you and innovate tools and products to make you better at that sport. They're not selling candy, even though they probably could because they have enough money. They're not making movies. They're not doing things that are outside of that mission statement. So that's part of their brand. Steve Jobs, obviously one of the greatest innovators of our time, I guess. He was really responsible for Apple's resurgence and all that kind of stuff. And he is thought of as a brilliant innovator and a brilliant, in my opinion, a brilliant marketer as far as Apple products goes. And then we have Starbucks with their new logo, new-ish logo. What do we know about Starbucks? What's their brand all about?
Your home away from home.
Your home away from home. It's about the experience that you have at their coffee shops, right?
Mhm.
So brands are built on two things. Brands are built on things that my conference. Experience and reputation. So the experience is, all the things that you love about the brand or all the things that you hate about the brand, and the reputation is that consistency that that brand puts that good thing or that bad thing out. So in Nike, it's consistently good shoes. In Starbucks, it's the same user experience at every coffee shop across the world. You walk in, you order your coffee, you take a seat in there, nice leather couches, there's some music playing in the background. It's a nice little coffee shop, soon to be wine bar. The experience and the reputation combine to be the key differentiation or differentiation point for that particular brand. It's the why you choose that brand over its competitor. Why you choose Starbucks versus Pete's, why you choose Nike versus Asics, why you choose Apple versus everyone else. Seth Godin said it like this. Seth Godin is world-renowned marketer, genius, product guy, bald dude with glasses, rad. You should look him up if you don't know who he is. A brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. If the consumer, whether it's a business, buyer, voter, donor, student, whatever, doesn't pay a premium, make a selection, or spread the word, then no brand value exists for that consumer. So there has to be a reason behind it. You have to have a drive for that brand to succeed. Brands are not, you don't get to see that because I keep messing with this. So it's not what a brand is saying about itself, it's what people are saying about that brand. So brands are built on what people are saying about you, not what you are saying about yourself. So even if Nike came out tomorrow and said, we are a candy manufacturer, people would not readily identify them as a candy manufacturer. They would still identify them as Nike. If you came out tomorrow and started saying, I came out tomorrow and started saying, I am a social media genius, most of you in this room would be like, I have no idea who you are. That holds no weight with me. So it's not about what I'm saying, it's about what you guys are all saying. So hopefully after this, you guys can all say something good about it. My next question is why? Why do you want to develop a personal brand for yourself? What makes that an important goal for you? Obviously, it's important to brand yourself and stand out amongst your peers. We are the CEOs of our own companies. You are a business, whether you like it or not, and it's your goal to be valuable to somebody else, especially in the workforce. So the most important job in your business right now is to be the head marketer for a brand called You. That's from Tom Peters at Fast Company. If you aren't your biggest fan, your biggest evangelist, nobody's going to know what you're good at. Nobody's going to know where you stand in the business world, how you're different from all the other people in your MBA program, how you're different from all the other people in all of the MBA programs across the state, the nation, the world. It's also important because the internet exists, social media exists, your entire life, for the younger of you, your entire life exists on social media. For the older of you, half of it maybe. But you're being Googled every day. Somebody Googles your name. You submit your resume, somebody Googles your name. And you want to be able to control the message that those people see. When somebody Googles you, they're not Googling you for bad things. They're not trying to find the dirt on you. They're Googling for credibility. They want to make sure that what you're putting in your resume or what you've said in that email or what you've said you're good at, you're actually good at. And they're looking for validation from other sources and from yourself and from maybe a blog post or from maybe a tweet that reaffirms that you are skilled in whatever particular area you choose. Obviously, you want to stand out from the crowd. You want to be different. You want to rise to the top. You want to be visible, you want to have credibility, all those kinds of things. And as far as finding a job goes, corporations really do care about your personal brand. It has a lot of weight on that human connection between, say Apple and all of their consumers. If there's a bad seed in there somewhere, that reflects poorly on Apple. If there's a really good seed in there somewhere, that's more Apple customers. And obviously the influence that you have over all of your friends and peers drives more business to that particular company. But you don't want to be so unique that you're no longer useful. So remember that just because you're unique does not mean you're useful. So you want to make sure that you highlight the talents that you have that can be useful to other people. So how do you start to build a personal brand? This is the approach that I would take. Be as simple as you can. Don't try to make it overly complicated. Don't try to be all things to everybody, because that'll never work. You can't be a rocket scientist and a professional marketer and a pro football player and all of those things. You can do one thing really well, probably. And take that one thing, that one uniqueness that you have, and focus it on a particular set of skills that you can give to a company, if in this case you're looking for a company. So you'll start with a brand statement. Has to be understandable and memorable, short, important, describes kind of what you do, like Nike's tagline, just do it. Just kind of describes what their brand is all about. Synonymous with what everybody else is saying about you. Your brand statement can't be different from what everybody thinks, because if there's a dissonance there, nobody's going to take what you're saying as credible. They're going to look at that and go, well, he says he's really good at social media, but everybody else says he's really good at sports marketing. So there could be a dissonance there. And then you have to support a goal that somebody else cares about. If you have a brand statement that is unique and understandable and synonymous with everybody's description, but nobody cares, it's not going to do you any good. So really quickly, I'm going to show you mine that I just made up. I am a social media trainer and consultant specialized in enhancing customer experience and satisfaction using online tools. So I practice and preach social media marketing. I love the tools that are available: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all of them. And I know which ones apply to which markets and how to kind of utilize and use those tools to gain market share, to gain sales, to gain traffic. Whatever you need it to do for your site or your business, I can help you do. I've developed that brand over a while, over the past couple of years, and now I get phone calls saying, hey, you're Devon, you're that social media guy, Marco told me to call you, or this is Devon, our social media director, he's been doing this for 2 years, he should come in and help you guys with your social media plan. So it's taken me a while to build it, but now I'm kind of known as the social media guy in my groups of people. So when you're building that brand, what do I call it? Brand statement, think about these 5 questions. So what are your goals? What do you want that brand statement to do? What do you want your personal brand to do? If it's get a job, if it's change the world, whatever it is, think about that before you make one. What do you value? Just in helping you kind of decide where that brand is going to lie. What are you passionate about? Because if you build your brand around something that you don't care about, you're not going to stick with it. It's not going to be consistent. You're going to get bored of it and you're going to walk away. What motivates you? It's kind of the same thing as the passion one. And then what makes you remarkable? So what's that key difference, the key differentiator, as I said earlier. If you can kind of flush those 5 things out, you can build a pretty strong brand statement and start marketing behind it. As far as marketing goes, I'm going to talk about a little bit about how you can kind of gain control of the digital space using things like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and all of the social media channels available for you, some Google tools, SEO, all that kind of stuff, so that you can put your best put forward when somebody Googles you or when somebody looks you up on Facebook and that kind of stuff. So if you look at the tools that you have today for building a brand, especially in the online space, it's all of these plus more. All the websites, Scribd, that's for writers. There's Flickr for photographers. There's YouTube for videographers. Facebook is the general one. Twitter if you want like short messages, and LinkedIn for your professional profile, and all of those things. There's hundreds and hundreds to choose from, and there's definitely one in your niche. If there isn't, you can always maybe create a YouTube channel that is. You can create a blog that is. Websites and blogs and social media channels. Those are the strongest advocates because you have the most control over those ones. There's also events. You can go to events like this one, and you can come up as the social media speaker or the personal branding speaker, and you can talk to 25 MBA students about social media branding, and that'll just reinforce the brand. And then there's, of course, traditional publishing methods. If you can write for a newspaper, or you can write for somebody else who values your opinion, that'll really help your credibility along. We're going to take a look at one of my favorite kind of business people. His name is Chris Brogan. We're going to look at his website, Facebook profile, Google Plus profile, and Twitter account, just to kind of show you how there's like consistency and that kind of stuff in personal branding. Chris owns chrisbrogan.com and twitter.com/chrisbrogan and facebook.com/chrisbrogan and google.com/chrisbrogan. He has made a conscious effort to grab all of these channels so that when somebody looks him up, all of his results appear on the first page. So this is his site. Prominent picture of him because he is in the business of helping people face to face. He's a business consultant. He runs a blog here where he writes about all kinds of things from social media to startups to all manner of entrepreneurship. This is his Facebook profile. This is actually his personal one. As you can see, he's got his face prominently displayed right there, just again to reinforce this is who I am, this is what I look like. If you see me, you can recognize me. This is his Twitter account. Again, his face super prominent right there. And he's interacting and talking back and forth with all of his Twitter followers. And this is his Google profile. Again, his face is right there, and he's doing all of the interaction and all of the things that he cares about to push that personal brand forward. So as you go through and build all of these channels, you want to make sure that you grab and are consistent in the way you represent them. So if you have, devonjordan.com and twitter.com/devonjordan and facebook.com/devonjordan and linkedin.com/devonjordan, you're going to rank higher in Google searches, and you're going to be able to put all of those things in front of potential employers before anything else that anybody else is saying. Allowing you, again, to put your message forward before anybody else says anything. Some key things to not forget when you're building this online reputation. Connect everything up. Google and all the search engines love links. So when your Facebook is connected to your Google, to your Twitter, to your, they look at that and they rank all of that stuff a little bit higher.
How do you do that?
Facebook, in your About section, you can put a link to your website. In Google, in your About section, you literally type in all the links. We can do it after I finish this presentation up. We'll go through and we'll put some links in my profile or something like that.
Okay.
But most of the sites allow you to put a URL for your website or your blog or whatever you want. Start and join conversations. That's probably what I think is the most important one, or the second most important one, aside from grabbing your name. When you talk about the things you're passionate about, it displays your brand much more effectively than when you don't, obviously. So if you can help somebody by joining in a conversation, a little piece of information here and there, it'll really help to establish that brand online. And then donate your experience, or donate your expertise. When you give it away for free, it showcases what you're really good at. People are able to see it, and they look at it as a chance for them to get to know what you're good at without actually having to put money down. That's one of the reasons why I took this event today, is because I know that even though I'm speaking for free, I'm talking to 25 potential people who maybe need some social media services or some branding services. that maybe I can turn into some money later. It's not the only reason, it's also because I was a CSU Fullerton student and I want to give back to the school. I'm not just here to take money from you guys.
You're gonna pull out the Xiaomi.
Yeah, I'm going to pull out the iPad and everybody's going to sign up via email address and your alma marketing list. Just kidding. And then also, you want to cultivate your relationships, which is something that I think is really easy to do online. You know, you can spend 15 minutes a day and send some emails and some tweets and some Facebook messages or whatever. I think it's much more important to do that in person. Go to a LinkedIn networking event. Go to your niche's networking events. Go to the wood, like this weekend I was at an event called the Wood Rocket Classic. It's a charity event for John Wayne Cancer Foundation, but it's all action sports industry people. So those are, my field is in action sports now. So those are, the people that I want to be interacting with. So go and actually build these relationships face to face and, learn their voice, learn their name, learn their faces and that kind of stuff. The rules. As you build your brand online, there's 5 things that you really need to do. Diligence and consistency. If you're going to make an effort to put forth a brand, make sure that you make a strong effort to do it. Don't do it for a month and then forget about it, because then you end up with a personal brand that looks like mine right now. I haven't blogged in a year. I haven't updated my LinkedIn profile in a year. I haven't done a lot of the things I've been talking about because I graduated from school and I found my job and I've been kind of doing it for work. I've been trying to brand this little SME name, and I've been neglecting my own stuff. So be diligent and be consistent, and it'll pay off in the long run. 15 minutes a day, checking LinkedIn, posting a comment here and there. It's not that hard. Be relevant. So don't talk about something that happened 5 years ago. Talk about something that happened yesterday. Be interesting. Don't talk about something that everybody else has already talked about. Maybe you have something more to add to the discussion. And then be yourself, because if you put forward inconsistencies and untruths, when it comes down to them actually hiring you or them actually wanting to use your services, those untruths are going to float right to the surface and they're going to know that you have no idea what you're talking about. So if we can move on to the next steps, as far as what you should do, maybe when you leave here today. Take an inventory of what you think maybe your personal brand is about. Look at the things you've studied in school, look at the businesses you've worked with, look at the hobbies you have, the things you're passionate about. Develop a plan to put all of that stuff into a profile online and to craft an online presence. Begin crafting that identity. Put your best foot forward. Pick 3 or 4 things that you really want to be passionate about and start writing about them, start tweeting about them, start putting some of yourself online and under your control. Choose your tools and channels. This is a really important one. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, those are kind of all pretty general. Anybody can use them. But there's hundreds of niche social network sites out there. I work for one of them. We built an action sports social network. So the only people that we care about are surfers, skaters, snowboarders, those guys. You're not going to go onto there and start talking about baseball. That's because that's just not where you're going to go. You're not going to go to smelive.com and do baseball. So make sure that you choose the right channels for whatever your chosen field is. And then experiment. That's something that I think a lot of people forget about. They see best practices and they do best practices and it's pretty good. Experiment with those best practices. Do something a little bit outside the norm and don't be afraid to make a mistake. Either it works or it doesn't, and it's not going to hurt your brand so much that you're gone from the internet or everybody forgets about you. Or that's the one thing that they remember. It's fun to experiment, and you can learn a lot by experimenting. Measure all of your results. So if you have a website, make sure that you're watching when clicks are coming through and people are looking at it and that kind of stuff. And then repeat your successes. If something works really, really well all the time, you continue to do that. And that's it. That is the end. You can email me, Devon at devonjordan.com, or you can Twitter me at Devon_Jordan. I'm going to pop up a couple of Google search results pages for a friend in here and for myself, just to kind of show you the different levels that you can own the Google search page. which I think is probably the most important thing that you can do when you're looking for a job, is own all of those first page results. So let's look at, first we're going to look at Jose's. Jose is a current student. He's sitting right there in the CSUF shirt. His name is Jose Sanchez. And this is his Google, these are what happen, this is what happens when you Google search Jose Sanchez. As far as I know, none of these are actually you.
I could be a lawyer.
Could you be a lawyer?
No.
110,000 people, or yeah, 11,000 people named Jose Sanchez. Somebody in Austin, slightly Austin. Oh no, that's another lawyer. Jose Sanchez Del Rio. So if he took a little time and invested maybe 6 months in trying to build his personal brand, he could probably end up with a search result page that is similar to mine, which is this one right here. Obviously, this is my best picture ever. But I own devonjordan.com, so that's mine. So that will, if you can grab your domain name, like yourname.com, that will always be the first search result. Always. Google values domain names more than anything else. I don't have any of the images because there's apparently some pretty actress or something that is not me. That's my Facebook page. That's the actress again. That's my LinkedIn page. And then that's my Twitter. And, I own half the, let's call it half the results on the first page.
Cool.
If you do it for somebody who's really good at their brand, or for somebody that has a brand that is readily recognizable, Steve Jobs, Lance Armstrong, any of those guys, you'll end up with a search result page like Chris Brogan does, or like Chris Brogan has. These are all his. This is his Wikipedia. This is his Twitter. This is his website. All of these things are all Chris Brogan. And that's really what you want, is you want a potential employer or a potential business partner or something like that to Google you, hit the first page and go, okay, these are all him? Perfect. Nobody else is telling me anything bad. Nobody else is telling me anything different than what Chris Brogan wants me to see or what Victor Nunez wants me to see. Anybody want to see theirs?
I was going to ask,
I'm curious.
sold you your domain name or how did you buy it?
My dad actually bought my domain name when I was like 8, and he sat on it until I was 14, and then he gave it to me, and I did some iWeb stuff with it, and I've played with it since then. But my dad was really smart and bought all of his kids' domain names.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, if you have a really common name, if you're John Smith, you're not going to get your domain name. You're not going to get @John Smith. You're not going to get any of those, but you can try. Are you John Smith? So I can open up to questions, and I can do my best to answer them for you.
That's like halfway.
Ready to go.
So what domain do you sell? It's pretty popular right now, I guess that.
If you're just buying, quite
Oh,
honestly,
like
go
half
for the
of it.
cheapest one.
Mine's kinda
HostGator,
down.
cheapdomains.com. It doesn't matter. GoDaddy is actually one of the more expensive, but if you're buying the domain, it doesn't matter. The hosting is where you want to start paying attention. Pay a little bit more money for hosting. If you're going to have a lot of traffic, grab a dedicated server and that kind of stuff. But that's all just checkboxes options when you're doing that stuff. But yeah, buying a domain name, it doesn't matter. Whoever's $2.99 a year.
Oh, okay, that's what I was just going to ask. What's the investment in that?
Yeah.
Domain, so my site costs me, domain is like, and I'm through GoDaddy, so I'm through one of the more expensive ones. I want to say $13 a year, and then hosting is like $7 a month.
Okay.
So for $100 for a year or two, you get on SeanLastName.com. Sorry, don't know your last name.
Sorry.
So the domain name is the www dot. The hosting is the server space to store all of the things that are on your website. So your website is just somebody pulling files off of another computer somewhere. So you need space to put that. You can do it at your house, but I don't know how to set up a server.
Yeah, like I know some people that go on Blogspot, and it'll be like www.blogspot / you put a name, and you can actually purchase your domain name through there. So if you want to have your own blog with either, it doesn't have to be about a subject; it could be just about yourself. I know some people that do that.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good kind of semi-free option. Blogspot, WordPress, Tumblr, all of them will allow you to point a custom URL towards that blog. So if you had josesanchez.tumblr.com, you could buy josesanchez.com, and then your Tumblr page could appear there. That's probably one of the cheapest options. We
Yeah, I
can
think
do.
it's like maybe $10 a year, and that's through them.
Yeah.
Google me real quick.
Marco?
Yeah.
I googled you earlier. You don't do that anymore.
What? How do you? I just checked right now.